Hi and welcome guys, Off-Road Universe, it's Darius here. I wanted to share this primarily for the DT50 folks, but also anybody that has a 6 volt or probably a 12 volt incandescent light bulb. This particular kit I got from Octane Lighting. I'm going to post a link to the eBay listing for the product. What this is, and we're going to be testing it, we don't know if it's going to work, but this is actually an LED headlight that is 6 volt. So if you know, particularly the DT50s are 6 volt, probably some other Yamahas are 6 volt. Actually, it'll go 6 to 80 volts, so that's interesting. That would work pretty good even for a 12 volt system. But one of the things about this that's pretty cool is that it's got, here, let me take this. It's got a couple neat things. First of all, it's an LED bulb, which is awesome. It's going to be good 3-4 times brighter. But what I noticed about this is that it's got a decoder on it. Now, what the decoder does is when you have an AC system that's an alternating current and you give the bike extra throttle, your volts kick up, and a lot of people will say that the LEDs will blow out. That has happened to a lot of folks that try to put LEDs on just a regular alternating current system. And if you look at what this decoder says, it basically is for DC and AC. So it's for AC current and DC current, which is great. And this should allow me to run this headlight on, the headlight bulb on the DT50, which is notoriously not very bright. The other thing is this plug looks an awful lot like the original OEM plug that I saw on my DT50, the female side. But if it's not, and I can't just direct plug this in, all I have to do is pop out the little tab on the back of these little tongs, and then I can just individually plug them in to the plug that I have. So in the next video, I'm going to install this, and if it works and we're good, I'll definitely say it would be a must-have for your older dirt bike. I'll let you guys know. Let's see. All right, guys, so we're just gonna disconnect the original headlight, and basically what we've got, we had blue on this side, white, green, and like I said, because the plug that I had from this headlight I bought from Portugal did not fit or align with this original DT50 plug, I just had to pull these little guys out. And as I said, in the plug itself, there's a little piece that holds in this prong, this metal prong, and then you just pry that back and you carefully pull that out. So let's see what happens if we install the headlight. All right, guys, so now what we've done next is we are arranging these prongs so that they actually match up with the way that I had it plugged in before. I am a little curious as to whether that was 100% correct, but I'm going to run with it because I don't want this to burn out for some reason. And I know that the incandescent one worked fine with this orientation. So I've basically gone in, you should be able to see there's a tiny little prong right here. And just with a little small flat screwdriver, I've gone in and I've basically, you can see here, you press the prong in, and then that lets you pull this out and change the orientation. Let's play. Okay, guys. So what we've done here, I'll clean my camera. Sorry. What we've done here is we've managed to plug it all in, which is pretty awesome. This was a direct fit plug to the DT50, and we've got it plugged in. I did a test. Sorry, I didn't capture it all, you know, in the video the first time, but it works. So let me show y'all here. Get this guy going. Okay. You can see she works. And then when we go to the high beam, I'm gonna go to right now, it is really bright. Pretty awesome stuff. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna disconnect her, and I did rev it up. The bulb didn't burn out. The decoder definitely works. So what I'm going to do now is figure out the other piece, which is that the ring that I have for this is way too big for my headlight. We got to figure out how we're going to lock this in so it doesn't move around and break. All right, guys, so did not cut my hand, but I want to show you the original retaining ring is actually too big for this headlight. So what I did was I used the old headlight plug as a guide, because this plug actually fits in, you know, pretty much right here like this. So I laid this over the old ring, and I used some nail polish, to mark up kind of the size I need, and then also where the prongs are gonna be, because this type of ring has 3 prongs. Now there could very well be an adapter for this, and if there is, you know, I would write those guys and let them know the size of your ring, but I'm gonna just go for it and go in and trim this, and hopefully I get this right. But it looks like, sorry for that, looks like we should be okay as long as we just cut out these little notches. But it's gonna be some very careful dremeling. So let's see how I do. This is super important because this basically connects into this here and forms the basis of what holds that light in place. So let's see what happens. All right, gonna go. All right, guys, so a lot of careful Dremel work. I know this doesn't look super pretty. If you guys can find a ring that fits this type of small headlight, more power to you, but I just went in and using that traced outline, I went in and I dremeled this down. And what I did here was I took out a little bit of the metal that holds it in place, so that we have, if you look here, we've got a little piece that comes out. I ground that down on 2 of the sides, so you can see, so that's gone and that's gone. That way this will slip right in, and I'll show you. All right, guys, so in this video, this little snippet, I want to show you how this fits basically. And you can see it locks in place here and locks in place here. I will probably do, since I don't have an exact factory spec, I mean, it's pretty good, but I'm gonna just end up going over with some tape, you know, electrical tape or something like that. Let's get the headlight in and see what happens. All right, guys, so what we did when I cut that ring, got it to fit, one of the problems was I made a mistake and I misjudged the 3rd tab, so I only had 2. I had it kind of like this on the ring. So what I ended up doing was just with a little bit of electrical tape coming in, and also use a little heat tape just to make sure it was nice and secure and snug. I made sure not to cover these little vents because there is actually a fan in here, which is pretty cool, that cools the unit. But I covered a little bit of the bulb housing itself, but that should be good. And then we're gonna plug it in and see. Now, everything I'm gonna be checking is the potential if an H7 adapter ring would work on this. I was looking online, and I maybe didn't need to use that cut ring. Just need to get an H7, which is smaller, but I'm gonna do some measurements and I'll see whether. All right, guys, so we're gonna connect this here. Let me, I was gonna set the camera, but basically, I rearranged the plugs as I felt they needed to be, and we're gonna just plug this in. And what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and very carefully tape this up, because I don't want this coming loose, but it's a nice fit, which is pretty good. The other thing I would do, but for some reason I am low on zip ties, this is the decoder, and this is pretty slick because this company, Octane Lighting, this is a up to 33 watt DC AC decoder, which basically when you have an alternating current system and you give it gas, the flywheel is going to produce some more currents, and it can blow out LEDs, but I'm not sure if it would. It might on this situation, but this is a 6 volt going all the way to 12 volt. So I'm not sure, but I do know that we should be pretty good here in terms of how this handles the current, because I tested it, but we'll find out. So what I'm gonna do is I would like to actually zip tie this, but I am fresh out of zip tie, so I'm gonna just put it back there and then ultimately zip tie it later, and then we'll hook it up and see how it goes. Okay guys, so we fit everything in. Sorry, that's my stool. We fit everything in. You can see the little bulb assembly with the fan fits perfectly back there. It's not hitting anything. We've connected it, and I gotta tell y'all, I wired it correctly this time because you can kind of interchange those three little prongs, and now I've got it to where if I hit the actual high, the blue light comes on here, and then we actually get a high beam. But I'm gonna tell you, I made the mistake of actually looking at this thing with my eyes. Oh my gosh, my eyes are actually hurting. It's super bright. You talk about like the blinding headlights when you're driving. This is blinding headlights. So I'm not saying I want to hurt anybody, but I guess people are not going to miss me. So it's pretty bright. We'll get you guys a video here in just a second. It's bright, and I'll actually pull it out to take a look at what it looks like, and I'll obviously try to run a comparison between what it was like before. All right, guys, take a look at this. This is at idle. Now, this is really bright. Really bright. This is on high. And you can see now the light is actually working correctly. And then we got our lows here. Not much difference, but definitely a little brighter. It's definitely bright. So yeah, we are a little bit of smoke. We're definitely bright. Let me pull this out so we can see what it looks like in the daytime. This is not complete daylight, but it's probably about 8 o'clock here in the summertime. And it's blinking right now on the video, but it's not blinking in person. I think the frames per second are just able to pick that up. But once you, so it's not blinking, at least not to my naked eye. But once you get going with a little revs, it's fine. So the decoder works, and yeah, it's bright, guys. It's really bright. So yeah, she is working good. And again, it's not blinking with my naked eyes. I don't know how to show you guys that. Picture, the camera is picking up something else. It's kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, it's a success. And again, she is not blinking, but if she did, that would get attention too. So yeah, I think we're pretty good. All right, guys, so I just want to show you a comparison. And again, it is not blinking with the naked eye. It's probably a very fast frame per second shutter on the camera, but that's the difference between the two. One is kind of yellow, dingy. It's not terrible, but this is way brighter and way more of a blue light. And again, it's not blinking. It's just probably something capturing because of the milliseconds of movement the camera's picking up. So all in all, a total success. The only thing I would look for doing is perhaps an H7 adapter, and I'll post an addendum on this right now so you can see what those are. I'm going to try that and see if that fits perfectly on this type of headlight. If it does, I'll post something in the comments, and that would take away the requirement of having to do any sort of cutting on the actual little adapter ring. Yep, and the last thing, guys, I want to mention is I got this from Octane Lighting for about 50 bucks plus some shipping. They are available actually in China if you want to wait, for about $18 or so, and that may come in about a month, but it's about the same setup. So I'll post some links. Octane Lighting got here in 3 days. The China thing could take a month, but it's not a bad deal if you've got a bike with a pretty dingy headlight. I've heard it described as urine in the snow bright yellow. You know what I mean. All right, if you like the video, hit like and subscribe.